everybody, it's great to see you all here tonight. I'm Elena, I'm on the marketing team here at Scoir, and I will be your host along with our special guest, Josh, who is our Chief Technology Officer and also a parent to a high school student. So we're so excited for you to be here today to walk through the parent experience in Scoir and also to hear tips and tricks from Josh, who's a parent going through the college search and application process. So as we go through our event tonight, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat. We will be taking a look at the chat and doing a Q&A at the end of the session. So we'll get to your questions then. And if you do not get your question answered tonight, we'll be sharing resources so that you can get the answers that you need and get started in your account. So what will we be talking about today? Like I said, we'll be going over the Scoir parent experience. And first, I think it's helpful to provide a little bit of context. What is Scoir? So you may have heard about Scoir on your own during your own exploration process, or from your student, and they may use Scoir at their high school. So at our core, we build powerful software that expands college access and improves collegiate outcomes. So with our tools, we empower students with the ability to search for colleges and find the right fit for them. Just to give you some background as well, on Scoir, students can search for and discover colleges that are a fit. So they can search for colleges by many different criteria, whether it's major, personal interests and activities, location, size, anything you can think of, students can search for colleges on Scoir. We also give them the chance to build their college list and collaborate with you, as well as their counselors. So when students find colleges that they like, they can add them to their My Colleges list. And this is where they'll house the colleges that they are following, which are the colleges that they're interested in, and then the ones that they are applying to and have applied to. So it gives them a chance to have that organization. We also give students a chance to discover possible careers, majors, and more. So we have a career interest assessment that students can take where they can find careers that may be interesting to them, and then majors based off of that may be interesting. We also have a Find Your College Match quiz where students can share the things that they're looking for and we'll provide them with colleges that may be a match for them. Students can also sign up for college visits and events, whether they're virtual or in person, right on Scoir. And then once the time comes, they can apply to college with Scoir. So these are just a few of the things that students can do in this platform, and you as a parent or a guardian can now have your own login to Scoir and explore the platform from a parent's point of view. So we want to point out, from discovery to application, Scoir protects students' personally identifiable information. We are very serious about this, and we have signed the Student Privacy Pledge. We've been signers for years. We do not sell, lease, lend, exchange, or otherwise share students' personally identifiable information with any third party. So without further ado, how about we take a look at a parent account? So I'm going to go off camera for this portion, but we'll take a look inside what a real parent account looks like. So as we mentioned, parents and guardians can now sign up for their own accounts in Scoir, even without a student invitation. This can give you the opportunity to really further support your student and guide them in their college search and exploration journey. So to start using Scoir, your student or their high school can invite you to the platform via their accounts. If you'd like to get started on your own, simply visit app.scoir.com/signup. And there you can select parent/guardian, enter your email address, and then click continue. And you'll receive an email with steps to verify your account, and then you'll be set to go. It's important to note that a unique email address must be used for your accounts. For example, if you're also a teacher with a Scoir account, you should use your personal email address for your Scoir parent account. So once you're in Scoir, you can use the platform to research colleges, suggest colleges to your student, calculate costs, respond to surveys, and communicate with your student or their counselors. Within your Scoir account, when you first log in, you'll see your dashboard. This is your homepage for updates on your student, messages from any colleges, and more. You'll have insights into your student's college list, and then also college matches that are based on criteria that you've entered in a search, any outstanding messages or surveys, and more. And you can also view helpful links and resources at the footer of your dashboard. So let's poke around a little bit. By clicking on the top right Me dropdown, you can get to your profile, and this is where you can edit any of your personal details, including your email address if you'd like to start logging into Scoir with a different email address, cell phone, different pieces of contact information. On your profile, you can also add in your college preferences to start getting matched with colleges that match these preferences, and you can then suggest them to your student. You can edit these preferences by clicking Edit Preferences, and you can see those matches by clicking See Matches, or you can access them from the Discover tab, which we'll look at in a bit. Your profile is also where you can request to link with your student if you haven't already. We highly recommend linking with your student in Scoir so that you can view their college lists, suggest colleges, and more. It really gives you the full experience. So let's move on to Discover. In Discover, this is where you can search for and suggest colleges that your student may like. So you can search for colleges directly in the Discover bar, and you can also search for them by picking different filters. So for example, you could search for a specific academic focus, a certain degree type, college size and location, and even settings, so city, suburban, rural, town. You can access all of our filters by clicking All Filters, and you can filter to your heart's desire. Once you've added all the filters that you'd like, you can then take a look at the colleges that are presented to you. You can also see what colleges are matches by clicking on My Matches, or those colleges that are matches for your student. As you continue filtering and finding colleges that your student would like, you can then click the Suggest button to suggest this college to your student. This will then put this college in the Suggested tab on your student's My Colleges list. Something else you can do in Discover is compare colleges to one another. So you can add up to 4 colleges to compare to each other and see side by side what the different metrics are for those colleges. So this is great for especially narrowing down your list. Back on the Discover page, you can continue your college search by clicking on the Posts subtab. So this is where you can select different hashtags like hashtag virtual tour, housing, dorms, study abroad, scholarships, things that would be interesting to your student, and see posts related to those from different colleges. For example, maybe you want to look at colleges that have hashtag travel. Once you do that, you can find different posts from colleges and click on them to learn more. This is a great way to interact with different colleges and get a feel for what they're like. You can also search for a hashtag by typing it into the search bar and finding it that way. Next, in the Events subtab, this will show you any virtual, in-person, or recurring events that are being hosted by colleges. You can actually click these 2 buttons to see just virtual events or recurring events. Once you click into an event, you can learn more about the date and location and the content that will be shared, as well as an external link to register. You can also suggest a college to your student right from the events page as well. So now let's look at an individual college page in more detail. You can search for a school, and you'll be brought to their college page. So college pages are broken down into different sections that include overview, academics, admissions, costs and aid, and student life. Colleges that have partnered with UVisit to provide virtual tours will also have those displayed here as well. So in the Overview tab, you'll find highlights and quick facts, featured posts, different sessions or events that the college is hosting, and then also location and transportation information. As you go through, you'll be able to see if this college is a match for your student based on your student's preferences. So in this case, major matches for my student. In the academics tab, you can explore different academic programs, degree types that are offered, and also popular majors. So what are the most popular majors at this school? You can also click through and explore every single major that's offered by the college. So you can really get into the granular details here. In the admissions tab, you'll see admitted student statistics and application deadlines and details. So you could take a look at what's the admissions rate, the average SAT score, ACT score, and then also what are those early application deadlines that you'll want to keep track of, as well as regular decision. In the cost and aid tab, you'll be able to estimate the cost of education for that school. So we'll get to the cost calculator in Scoir in just a bit, but this will give you a good cost breakdown of what's in-state tuition versus out-of-state tuition, financial aid averages, and the average net price that's usually paid for certain household incomes. Colleges will also have posts about value and affordability as well on their pages. And then finally, in the student life tab, you have the student body statistics, so number of undergrad and total students, retention rate. You'll also have campus life information, as well as the demographic data of enrolled students. So diversity information, as well as different programs that are offered, and then posts from the college. So on any college page, you can scroll to the bottom and see if your student is already applying to that college, or if they're not, at the bottom you'll have the option to suggest the college for your student. So speaking of seeing what colleges students are applying to and information on students' college list, let's see how you see your student's profile in Scoir. So the same way that you viewed your profile in this top right, you can also then view your student's profile. So if you have more than one student on Scoir, you'll see both of their names here or all of their names here. And you can also view them from your dashboard. So you'll be able to see all of your students from your dashboard. So to go into an individual student's profile, at first you'll be able to view their personal details, as well as an academic overview, a personal bio if they've written one, any activities and achievements that they've entered into their Scoir profile. And then you'll also be able to see their college preferences. So what are the preferences that they're using when they're searching for colleges? This can help you tailor your search for your student and give you some more insight. You can also take a look at saved careers that the student is interested in. So this is from the career interest intake that's on the student's profile. And then you'll also see their My Drive. And this is great for document storage and sharing between students, counselors, and parents or guardians. Keep in mind that the parent view of the student profile and of their search is read-only and cannot be edited. So clicking on this College and Applications dropdown, that will show you your student's My Colleges list. So this list is broken up into suggested, and this is where colleges that you or your student's counselor has suggested to them will appear. Following, these are the colleges that your student is interested in but hasn't taken action on yet. So for any parents or guardians out there with first-year students, sophomores, or juniors, a lot of colleges will be in the following. And then applying. So once senior year rolls around and students start applying to colleges, this list will start to fill up with different colleges that they're applying to, and then applied. So the colleges that they actually have applied to. You can suggest a college directly from the Students My Colleges list just by searching the name of the college and adding it here. The other tab to explore is scattergrams. So if you are linked to your student, and if your student is linked to their high school, you'll have access to this scattergram. So these visually depict historical admissions decisions from your student's high school using previous students' GPAs and SAT scores or ACT scores anonymously. And it's really intended to provide a guidepost to gauge the likelihood of acceptance for a student. So you can see different students who were not accepted, waitlisted, deferred, or guaranteed transfer, etc., in comparison to your student. So again, just to be used as a guidepost, but can be helpful when you're exploring colleges with your student. So speaking of comparing colleges, we know that cost is oftentimes a big factor for parents and guardians in the college search process. So as I mentioned, in the top right corner, you can access Scoir's cost calculator, and this can help you estimate the cost of college attendance. So you can estimate costs by average net price, income-based net price. You can manually enter a custom price estimate if you have your expected family contribution, or you can use Scoir's calculator to estimate your expected family contribution. So I will note that the Department of Education is making some changes this academic year to the FAFSA, or the free application for federal student aid, as well as expected family contribution. So this formula will be changing, and as soon as this formula is released, Scoir will be updating our cost calculator accordingly. So to round things out, I'm going to head to the inbox. And by clicking this inbox icon, you'll see any college outreach from colleges that your student is interested in, as well as direct messages between you and a student's counselor, and notifications. Something important to note is that college outreach is entirely anonymous. Your student's personally identifiable information, or PII, is completely protected. That's very serious to us here at Scoir. So these messages are anonymous and are just shared to give you more information about the college. In notifications, this will alert you of any messages you've received, such as new items that are added to your student's MyDrive, that document sharing area, as well as early decision contracts or agreements that need to be signed, for example. And then clicking again on the Me icon, you can also access surveys that are assigned to you by the student's counselor. And it's important to note that surveys cannot be reopened once they're submitted, so definitely double check your answers before submitting. But this is a great place to check out what's needed of you from your student's counselor, and it's also available to you on your dashboard. If at all, when you're using Scoir, you have any questions about navigating, you can click this Scoir icon in the bottom of your screen, and this will give you access to our help documents. So you can search for anything that you're looking for, and you will get a help doc linked out to you. So that's your overview of the Scoir parent experience. So now we're so excited to be joined by our special guest, Josh Daltrey.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Josh. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Good to be here.
So to give everybody some context, Josh actually works here at Scoir. You're our Chief Technology Officer, and you're also a parent to a high school student. So we're so excited to hear about your experience using Scoir.
Yeah, I'm excited to share.
And honestly, it's pretty nice to hear that even though you do work at Scoir, we've spoken about how you use Scoir almost daily in your house. So, we'd love to hear a little bit of background about your student, what grade she's in, things like that. And then we can dive into some of your tips and tricks.
Yeah, so I'll start with a story. So my daughter's a rising junior, actually will be at a Scoir school in the fall, which is really exciting, a Scoir high school. And at this point in our discovery journey, it's really just about kind of discovering right fit schools that she's likely to get into, and starting to talk a little bit about the financial aspect as well and what mom and dad can afford. So a lot of it is around starting with a rather large list, and we're in the process of kind of like whittling it down to something a little bit more manageable.
Yep. Oh, I remember my sophomore year, I had probably 30 schools at least on it. So yeah. It's interesting to see how by senior year that really dwindles down to 8 to 12 colleges.
Yeah, we're down to 20 right now. I think we should cut it down a little bit more, but we're down to 20.
We're getting there.
We're getting there, exactly.
So, Josh, how do you use Scoir right now to support your daughter through the process?
Yeah, so given this past fall of her sophomore year, she took the PSATs, and that's when all the enrollment marketing emails and direct mail started, a lot of it was, who is this
Yep.
school? Right? And really focusing much more on fit. Is this is this a large school? Is this a small school? Where is the school located? What are the top majors? Um, that type of more quantitative fit really started the process. She's also a competitive athlete, and there's a conversation around playing sports in college, and some of that outreach has started as well. And again, really using it as like, I get this email, I got this, mail to the house, and let's figure out who this college is and what they're all about.
Yep. I remember being just inundated with flyers, newsletters from colleges where I thought, how do you even know who I am? How did you even find me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
So another aspect of this is with the Scoir mobile app in particular is kind of a key part of that kind of daily conversation, which we're sitting around the kitchen island or the kitchen table, and able to kind of quickly kind of have a discussion around, hey, there's this upperclassman who's just committed to this school, or at the end of the academic year when all the seniors and all the high schools announce who's going where. This leads to some really interesting discussion, and we're able to use Scoir to kind of augment that conversation and kind of learn more about the schools that are out there.
Yeah, because I imagine it can be, I know from a student perspective daunting, but I'm sure from a parent perspective daunting as well to get those flyers in the mail from dozens of colleges, then hear about this person's child is going to this school and that school. And it's hard. I know, Google is a great tool, but it can be a lot with all of the data and all of the information that's out there. So I know that, looking up college profiles in Scoir is something that I wish that I had, just to see the information at a glance.
Yeah, absolutely. And along those lines too, the discovery aspects, because my daughter, a year ago, I think she thought there was only 20 schools that matter in the country. You probably know what schools they are. And, you'd be able to use Scoir to kind of go beyond that, those typical 20 schools or 25 schools that everyone knows, to discover some schools that are great, great places for an education and give her an amazing experience. And, some of that is, Scoir's ability to show kind of similar colleges or colleges you may like, or colleges that match your preferences has been a big part of kind of expanding the colleges she's considering.
Yeah, I've heard that too from a lot of different parents or guardians that are, really active on social media, or they respond to our newsletter. Yeah. And a lot of them say that, their child was really focused on a certain subset of schools, and that they're able to see those recommendations or even take the Find Your College Match quiz and see what colleges could be a match that maybe they hadn't thought of yet.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, that along with, it's one thing to kind of keep a mental list of the schools you're considering, but being able to have that utility of like, it's kind of home base for us at the moment, where the list is there. It's her list. We can collaborate on it. We can suggest schools. It kind of makes it all more tangible too. It feels like you're actually making progress than just having, conversations.
Yeah, that's so true. And especially because your daughter was a sophomore, is now a rising junior, college applications haven't started yet. So it can seem like, I don't know, it's hard to have that organization when it's not senior year. It's not like I'm applying today to the colleges, but having the ability to have a college list in Scoir, it sounds like it's really great to see things mapped out. What?
Yeah. Again, it feels like progress. I mean, our lives, obviously my wife and I have busy lives. I have a busy life during the day, and, being able to have that kind of like that anchor point that, all right, these are the schools that are currently in the mix. And to be able to kind of review that regularly. Again, we're going to be making another editing pass pretty soon. Just gives you confidence that you're doing something and you're moving the process along.
And when we were walking through the product, we saw
Yeah.
the ability to suggest colleges in the suggested column. How often would
Yeah.
you say you use that tool in particular?
Yeah. Did a lot early. A lot of it right now is really having side by side
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. But that was something that really started the process because again, my daughter really there was 20 schools that she knew, and we were to use that to really kind of expand kind of her understanding of what schools were out there.
Right. And when you say compare, do
Yeah.
you side by side, do you mean the college compare? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. So what we're really using it is, again, it's much more of a collaborative experience with her. It's again been great. Either laptop up or phones next to each
Yeah.
other, to have that conversation. So really, it's that center point of our the conversation around college.
Right. Absolutely. And you mentioned the Score mobile app. So does your daughter use the mobile app a lot?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny is she had one of her friends over last night, and her friends being actively recruited for sport. We got Rising Junior as well. And they were talking about a certain college in particular, and they both had the Score mobile app out as there was a debate about how big the school was. So that was great to see that that was her first instinct to pull it up. You can go to Google. And there's other places to go get this type of information. But what's great about the Score mobile app, it's centered on just the facts you need about the colleges you're considered. There's no other noise, and it's all structured in a way to make it really easy to kind of get that information for someone who's going through the process.
Yep. And I mean, when you're a student, I feel like there's so much information thrown at you at any time. And I'm not just talking about in your classes, in history class, science.
Yeah.
With the college application process, there's so much information. So if students are always on their phones, having that mobile app right there can help you take these things on the go. Even if you're on your way to a college visit, to refresh yourself on what the college is about.
Yep, absolutely. Again, it's something that's, at this point in time, it's kind of central to all those conversations.
And Josh, when you and I were talking previously, I know that you said that one thing that you use are the college profiles. So we walked through those a little earlier, seeing how you can see admissions information, cost, student life. How have you found those to be helpful for yourself as a parent and then for your student?
Yeah, a big one is thinking about right now given that we've kind of starting to target and we're getting closer to our junior year, starting to target kind of a smaller set of schools. The question of can I afford it is a big one. So being able to not just get the list price, but to be able to get some type of estimate of price that I may pay, whether it's we have this net price calculator functionality. To get a number of different options, but kind of looking at not just the list price, but what an estimated price is based on my financial situation has been a big one, as well as just the overall kind of makeup of the school. What's the school all about? Some of the recent adding for certain schools on Scoir have a kind of premium presence, and there's a lot of content around majors, certain aspects of the university, clubs, programs, sports, and going through some of those content cards as well to kind of without being on the campus, discover more of what that student life might be has been a lot of fun and has been useful as well.
Yeah, we walked through earlier posts, and I think that that's something that can be really helpful to parents or guardians listening here today. You get a taste for what the college is like. It's more personal than just numbers. Between the images and videos that they're sharing, it can really give you an idea for what student life would be like for your student.
Yep. And although we're getting closer to, I guess it's hard to say end of summer, but that we do plan on making a couple of visits before the her junior year begins, and some of the events information, especially events for schools that she's following. And a lot of those event cards are information around visits, and we're using that to kind of plan a, at least a local trip here to hit up some universities.
Yep. Yeah, and if especially I think of my mom and how helpful she was in the process. These are things that would have been, really helpful. It could have guided us along the way in a different way than it was when I was applying to college. And shameless plug, any of the parents or guardians out there who are thinking, what should my child be asking on a college visit? We've got blogs for that. We've got podcasts for that. So definitely check them out.
Yeah. It's another interesting, speaking of kind of some of that too, just in regular conversations with my mom and dad friends, the parents of my kids' friends, and this is a conversation that comes up all the time, and being able to kind of use Scoir to kind of give them some information as well, and have them being as active users is actually kind of a pretty cool thing too.
And I also know that when we've talked before, you've said that you were using your daughter's account, but now you can sign up for a parent account. So how do you see that kind of influencing the way that you are involved in this process?
Yeah. Well, one thing, it's leading to, there's going to be some really cool features coming to the parent experience, because now I get to use it every day. So stay tuned for a lot more there. But yeah, I mean, it's now we have our own place. Now we have, my wife and I can have our own place to kind of participate and to have conversations kind of independent of the conversations we're having with our daughter.
And I think that kind of highlights in terms of tips and tricks, the importance of linking to your student, because it gives you the full experience. You can look for colleges if you're not linked to your student, but it is best to link so that you can suggest colleges.
Exactly.
Yeah, and really be more connected in the process.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So, Josh, as we leave some time for questions for the parents and guardians joining us tonight, do you have any final tips or advice for the parents who are just getting started in this process?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, first I'll say it's never too early to get started. At the time when my daughter was a sophomore, it was, I know my wife and I debated whether it's too soon to have the conversation, but boy, I'm glad that we had it when we did. Feel like we're so much farther along. So that'd be one. It's never too early to start having the conversation. Again, even if it's just having fun with it, just even if it is just putting, starting with the top, the name brand colleges that your son or daughter may, or the student may know, just put them on the list and start the conversation, right? You have to start somewhere. So that'd be the first. The second is, and we recently crossed this topic. It was a hard one to have, but never too early to have the financial conversation as well, right? To set realistic expectations of not just what maybe, mom or dad can afford, but also the conversation around debt and how much debt you may or may not want you or your student to take on. So that was a hard one for us to have, but I'm happy that we had it. So don't avoid the money conversation. Don't avoid the cost conversation. Have that as soon as possible. It should be a collaboration with you and your student, especially if there's a potential for them taking on a lot of that. And the third would be, and I kind of, started when we started this conversation, I mentioned about the top 20 schools or the 20 schools that my daughter knew, that it's so important to not focus on what the name of the sticker that's going to be on the back of your car, but really think about your new son or daughters, like what's the right fit for them. And you get a sense for, it really should be an aspect of them discovering themselves through this process of like who they want to be, what type of environment kind of brings out the best in them, what type of environment makes them happy. And and through Scoir, you can discover, that set of schools. So, don't focus too much on the name brand schools. There's a lot of fantastic institutions out there, and Scoir can help you discover them.
That's fantastic advice.
That's it.
That really is fantastic advice. It's so true. In this process, your student will face a lot of pressure, I'm sure. So having that pressure kind of stepped off in terms of the sticker on the back of the car is so helpful, because it is about fit. And I really do believe that in Scoir, students can get at least one step closer to finding that fit.
Absolutely.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for your time tonight. It was so great to hear your advice. And please, parents or guardians listening, drop your questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them.
It was fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Bye. See ya.
So like I said, our Q&A is now open. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and a member of our Scoir team will be happy to assist you. If you've got to get going, no worries at all. Thank you so much for being here tonight and spending some time with us and getting to learn a bit more about the Scoir parent experience. We're so excited for you to dive in. The room will be open for another 15 minutes in case you'd like to send us a message or chat with us. And as a reminder, a recording of this session will be sent out to you after the session ends. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.